This is the fight.
Oh, wow. Both fighters landing in the pocket. Oh! Two of the toughest fighters on this roster putting on an absolute show tonight.
Poirier is digging deep right now, and this is what Gaethje wants.
Justin Gaethje has started to take control.
Oh, Poirier's leg is done.
That's how we break it down.
Check the kick. Let's make him pay for it.
Oh! He's looking for the finish here.
Gaethje's hurt bad.
Oh! Justin Poirier! Flying knockout!
Oh, my
Goodness! A fight for the ages!
We both left it all out there that night, but we're still at the top of the mountain.
What we've seen is a combination of all of his hard work. He has fought for everything he's ever done.
We all evolved as fighters.
Oh!
Justin Gaethje is back!
So I want to fight again.
Let's put it back on the line for the BMF title.
Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen.
There's going to be two of the baddest dudes in the game. For the vacant BMF title,
This is the fight that everybody wants to see.
What's understood don't need to be explained. Something nasty is going to happen.
Justin Poirier is a certified UFC legend.
He will inflict damage on anybody that dares step foot in the octagon with him. This is what I do. I live for this.
Have you ever seen anything like Justin Gaethje?
This dude's a bad, bad man. He just destroyed everything in his path.
This is two legends in the game, and one of us got to go.
The power on display is phenomenal.
Oh, let's Pereira! He takes his act to the light heavyweight division.
He's one of the most destructive strikers on planet Earth.
Blachowicz!
There's a reason why this man was a champion. This guy has power for days.
You are listening to a UFC 291 preview here on the Lock Betting Podcast. You can now follow Lock Betting on Twitter at Lock Betting X. That's at Lock Betting X. It is a new Twitter account, mainly because the other one is shadow banned. I said a lot of things during COVID. I got a few suspensions, got into a few arguments over the years, and since then, my account has been shadow banned. I thought buying Twitter Blue would be the solution, but it isn't. A lot of people still never see my tweets. They have to search for me, or they have to have notifications on, or they see me making comments via the hashtags that I use. It shouldn't come to that, but the biggest issue is I can't use Twitter Spaces, and I cannot use the subscription service. People cannot subscribe to my Twitter so that I can offer additional content via Twitter, which is what I want to do. So the best thing to do is to start again. I am currently on a suspension. I am also facing a DMC, a takedown, and I haven't replied to that message. I have 30 days to reply. Otherwise, my account will be permanently suspended. And quite frankly, I have no intention to reply because the account is absolutely pointless. Yes, it has 3,000 or 4,000 followers, but if you can't grow it, there's no point wasting time in growing it. So the best thing to do is get on board with the whole X thing, and I have a new handle. It is at LockBettingX. That's at LockBettingX. The spreadsheet for the previous month, which at the moment is the month of June, will still always be the pin tweet on the Twitter account because I am a tracked and transparent capper, unlike the rest. So always the pin tweet on Twitter is going to be my P&L from the previous month. At the moment, you see the month of June, which was my 121st month in a row of transparent track profit. That means I have been undefeated in sports betting for over an entire decade. All the other spreadsheets move over to the website lockbetting.com, where you can sign up for additional services. And now is the great time to do that because it is futures season. Over at Lock Betting, we cash futures at 80% for futures that are 1 unit or bigger. So that is a solid way to invest your money. And so I encourage you, head over there, do your research, do your due diligence, look at all the other previous spreadsheets, because once they leave Twitter, they get posted on the lockbetting.com site. All of the spreadsheets are there. And once you are happy, then and only then should you sign up for the service that has delivered 121 months in a row of transparent track profit. We are just a couple of weeks away from the soccer season, and then we have the NFL starting just a month after that. So we will be posting futures for soccer and we'll be posting futures for the NFL. And last season, if you know, you know, we absolutely obliterated the NFL, particularly with our futures. So if you want to make that money this season, everybody knows what I do in soccer. I've been delivering year in and year out, but we're also making money in all other sports as well. So if you want to invest in a long-term package to make sure you never miss a future, and head over to the website, lockbetting.com. That's lockbetting.com. And once again, the Twitter account is @lockbettingx. That's @lockbettingx. Let's move on to previewing UFC 291. We're going to focus on the two main fights, and the main event will feature Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje for the UFC BMF title. This is a great fight, but I don't know why it's for the BMF title. I'm not a fan of the BMF title. I do think it's a little bit cringy. What does it even mean? Well, I know it means the bad motherfucker title, but what does that mean? Does it mean that someone like Khabib Nurmagomedov, because he primarily submits people, isn't a bad motherfucker? Because it's hard to, or was hard to, hit Khabib Nurmagomedov, because he was a fighter who relied on taking you down to the ground and making you submit and was a specialist in what he does. Does that mean he's not a bad motherfucker? Because trust me, Khabib Nurmagomedov is a bad motherfucker still, and he will be able to win any kind of street fight. So you can't even argue that this is a street fight title. What it really is, in my opinion, is a TKO KO title, or even a hit or be hit title. It's for guys who have exciting fights. It's for guys who throw caution to the wind. It's for guys who sell a good fight but are not in the title picture. And to be fair, both of these guys could easily get themselves back into the title picture, but that's not what this title is. So just to have this title there, which is not a real title, because it doesn't mean that you're really the best at anything other than being able to deliver an exciting fight, which isn't an achievement really. It's a mindset. You have a mindset where you want to go out there to win, or you have a mindset where you want to go out there to entertain the fans. And this really could be classified as the entertainment title. It's very WWE-esque, and I'm a WWE fan, but bringing this sort of thing into MMA does feel a little bit odd, does feel a little bit cringy, and I'm just not a fan of the BMF title. But why don't you shoot me a tweet? This is a good time and a good way to engage with the new Twitter account @LockBettingX, and tell me what you think of the BMF title. Am I being a little bit harsh, or am I on the money in saying that this is a little bit cringe and a little bit bizarre that we have this, because it's not a real title? And what does it mean to you? What do you think when you hear the BMF title? And as I know what the definition means. It means that you're a bad motherfucker. But are you telling me that Khabib Nurmagomedov isn't a bad motherfucker? And he, for me, would never qualify for this title, because stylistically, he is not a fighter who takes the approach of hit or be hit and throws caution to the wind. He's a strategic fighter who has a game plan in mind to take you down and to try and tap you out on the mat, basically just to wrestle the death out of you. And that's not what this title is about. So essentially, another way to look at it is that it's a boxing title in MMA. Is that what it is? I'm very confused by this. Not a fan of this at all. I'm a fan of pretty much everything that UFC do, other than the judging. The judges are absolutely appalling. They've cost us money multiple times by reaching completely the wrong decision, and that's obviously something that needs to be looked at. But other than that, I'm normally a fan of everything. But as I said, I'm not a fan of this BMF title. But it will be on the line in the main event of UFC 291 as Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje will go at it. These two guys have seen 30 of their 64 combined bouts end by a TKO KO in the opening 2 rounds. Again, is that what BMF means? If you have that sort of resume, if that's how your fights are ending, if they're the type of fights that you're delivering with this let's go for the head, let's knock the fuck out of each other mentality, does that put you in the BMF category? It's just dumb. What does it mean? Poirier is the 4-6 minus 150 favourite to win this fight. It's 6-5 here on Justin Gaethje. The method of victory market, and I'm all pent up here because of my little rant. The method of victory market sees Dustin Poirier at 2-1 to win via TKO KO. He's at 13-2 via submission, and he's at 7-2 to win via a decision. Justin Gaethje is at 21-10 via TKO KO, 20-1 via submission, and 11-2 to get it done here via a decision. The total rounds market here sees under 1.5 rounds here at 6-4. That's a decent price, actually, when you look at the data we just gave out for the fight, with 30 of 64 fights combined finishing in under 2 rounds. But you need this to finish in the first half of round 2, not the second half, because you lose. With the over 1.5 here at 1-2 minus 200. The 10-11, 10-11 minus 110 line is bang on the over under 2.5. So under 2.5 is at 10-11 minus 110, and over 2.5 rounds is at 10-11 minus 110. Under 3.5 rounds is at 4-7, with over 3.5 rounds at 5-4. Under 4.5 rounds is at 1-2, with over 4.5 rounds at 13-8. And will the fight go to distance? Yes. 2-1 plus 200 for these guys to navigate 5 whole rounds, 25 minutes, and no is available here at 2-5. Difficult fight to call here because it could be some type of lottery in terms of who lands the strike that ends the fight. That's what it could be. It could just be a case of somebody landing that knockout punch. It could be the case of somebody landing something that stuns the other and is able to capitalize on the damage. But if both guys are going out there swinging as they're supposed to, because they're fighting for the BMF title, then it makes it very, very hard to call. Usually when you get a rematch 5 years on, you could accuse the promotion of trying to recapture the glory and trying to rewrite history with fighters that may be past their prime. That's not the case here. These two are actually better than they were in 2018. They have far more rounded games. They have bigger wins on their resume, especially with Poirier getting those wins over Conor McGregor. So it's actually a much bigger fight than it was previously, which is why it's the main event here, and nobody's arguing about it. They're even fine with the BMF title being on the line. My pick here is going to be Poirier because I do think that he is better and he will be able to be slightly more conservative and pick his shots more efficiently, and that I think will lead him to winning the fight. I believe that Poirier probably wins this fight 8 times out of 10, which does give us a little bit of line value here on the 7-10. Gaethje is also improved from the first fight, but because Poirier has as well, I think he's going to win a slugfest here, but I don't think it's going to end in the first half of the fight. So I think these two will navigate those first 2 rounds. I even believe that there may be an air of caution here where they will take a look at each other for the first 5 minutes. Yes, they'll obviously be trying to do damage and knock each other's heads off, but I don't think it's going to be a case of them just going out there swinging for the heels. They're much better than that, and they've both worked their way up to this main event spot, which is valid, and nobody wants to lose that just for the sake of trying to uphold some reputation where you are seen as an entertaining fighter. That's not really how I think it's going to play out. Since the first fight, both men have only lost to Chucky and Khabib. So both guys have developed their brawling styles into what I like to call technical brawling styles now, because it's got a little bit more intelligence behind it, which is why I don't see it finishing in the first couple of rounds. But taking all of those factors into consideration, I do feel it's most likely going to play out the same way as the first fight, and it's going to be equally as entertaining. I'm hoping that Justin checks the leg kicks this time round if I'm taking him as the winner, because that almost caused him to lose the last fight, and he had to actually produce quite a miraculous comeback to win in the end. The last fight was close. This is going to be close too, but I lean Dustin Poirier, the diamond, coming through in a brawl here. So my pick's going to be on him to get the win as the favourite at the best available price I've seen of 7-10. Before we move on to looking at the co-main event here on this card, let me quickly tell you guys about Underdog Fantasy. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is right around the corner, and Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on a ton of NFL player props and is available in a ton of markets. Plus, plenty of opportunities to win in their daily MLB contest. And of course, make sure to enter Best Ball Mania 4, where first place gets $3 million. Head over to underdogfantasy.com and use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com and your promo code SGPN. So we move on to the co-main event of the night, and this is another both huge and fascinating fight. It is in the light heavyweight division, and the winner of this fight will be declared the number one contender. And it will feature Jan Blachowicz going up against Alex Pereira. Both of these two men have got victories over Israel Adesanya. Former middleweight champion Alex Pereira has won 3 of his 7 professional MMA bouts via TKO KO in the opening round and holds 2 knockout victories over Israel Adesanya in kickboxing and MMA, whilst Blachowicz, he handed Israel Adesanya his first defeat when Adesanya stupidly tried to move up to the weight class. Both of these two men are inseparable at 10 to 11. So minus 110, minus 110 on both of these guys. Pereira is at 6-4 to get the TKO KO. He's 20-1 to get a submission, and he's 7-1 to win via decision, whilst Jan Blachowicz is available at 3-1 via TKO KO, 9-2 via submission, and 4-1 via a decision. The total rounds market here in what is a 3-round fight see under 2.5 rounds here at 1-2, with over 2.5 rounds at 13-8. And fight to go to distance odds see yes at 5-2 plus 250, and no available at 4-11.
Fuck, this is a good fight. I like it.
When you knocked him out, after 3.5 months, is it too soon for him to be coming back and fighting Polish Power?
Well, how long did he take before he started sparring again, before he started training again? All these things, so many factors, what you eat.
And also the weight cut, because, it takes 72 hours for your brain to get rehydrated.
Yeah, but the weight cut, yeah, it sucks a lot of weight, but this rhetoric of like, the weight cut affected the knockout. When I heard him all these other fights ago, the same weight class, like, fuck, he was able to take it regardless of the weight cut. So this time I just timed it right and I caught him off guard. That's what knocked him out, not this weight cut. I don't like that narrative. The weight cut, he sucked so much weight. No one said it last time in November. No one say it now after I put the right hand of God on him. But yeah,
I wasn't saying that, but I was like thinking about everything.
Yeah, I know everything else. I understand. I just had to clear that up because I saw that a while ago. And I was just like, whatever. But I can't say if I'm not as fucking psychic. I don't know. And we're going to find out. Only he knows. He knows the answer. He wouldn't take this fight if it wasn't ready. And even talking to him when I was at the airport, we had the same idea of how this fight will go. But I warned him just to watch out, because you might expect him to do what we expect him to do, and he might not do it because he knows of the power that he has. But for me, stylistically, it's an exciting matchup. I'm excited. These are 2 guys that I fought, 2 guys that have both beat me. For me, it's interesting to see, okay, how does that matchup play into each other? So also there's different elements as well, the grappling element. And Jan might just try and do that early on and take away his power, his chances at striking, and wear him down. In a 3-round fight, I think it'll be on the feet. Jan's definitely going to try and take it down. He's not stupid. Alex should just fucking use that knee, but the thing is, he knows how to time it well, but that's when he's offensive. Defensively, when someone's shooting on him or when someone's coming in, you have to drill that. You have to have that in your arsenal. Yeah, sometimes if you have the instinct and they do a sloppy takedown, you're able to just fire that thing, yeah.
Hey, hold on, we'll break it down. Round 1, how do you see them starting off?
I think Alex will start fast. Yeah, I think Alex will start fast, but not crazy fast. He'll just put that pressure on straight away. Make Jan feel his presence. Because Alex will just let you know I'm the general. It's what he likes to do. He like to come in and try and own the space. That leg kick, he's gonna throw that leg kick because it's hard to read. He's gonna throw that leg kick. Jan is gonna take his time, patience, get as much reads as he can. But if Jan does what I think he's gonna do, he's gonna get caught with a left hook. I don't want to say it. I'm trying like I'm protecting Alex or something. Don't add this bit in, but if he get caught with a left hook.
Is somebody want this bit put in?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you break down the fight, so like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want John to see this and then not do it. But maybe it's because I want Alex to win. But who knows?
Why do you want Alex to win?
I don't know.
Does it go the distance?
Nah.
No way?
I don't think it goes the distance. Well, if it does, Yang wins. If it doesn't, actually...
Just Polish power. I mean, he had the reputation for a reason.
I felt it.
Yeah, but you also felt the left hook. Like, I mean, you got a great chin.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, you're different.
But
I mean, they both have the reputations for powerful shots.
I think Alex hits harder. And it's just, it's the way he throws, the technique he throws with, the technique he grounds himself. He's not running. He's not moving and throwing. He sits when he gets you where he wants you, especially against the fence. He'll sit there and throw. So that's how he's able to hit harder. Jan can definitely learn how to hit harder, but if Jan gets him down, I think he's just going to control him there. Control him there for 3 rounds. 3 rounds? Yeah, for 3 rounds. Official pick, I'm gonna go Alex. So Alex by knockout.
So that was Israel Adesanya. I put that in because it's fascinating, because he's fought both of these two guys, lost to both of those two guys, and even he can't really decide who he thinks is going to win the fight. That clip came courtesy of the Freestyle Bender YouTube channel. So that's where he was breaking down the fight over on YouTube. But we didn't really get too much from that. Obviously, we got the routes to victory, but we knew that anyway. Anybody who watches MMA, who's watched these two guys fight, knew that it was going to be a case of Alex trying to get the knockout, trying to take his head off the way that he beat Israel Adesanya, and Jan Blachowicz here coming in and implementing the same game plan that he used to beat Israel Adesanya. For me, I narrowly lean towards Blachowicz, just simply because it's a short fight. It's 15 minutes. I would like Alex Pereira more if it was longer, because that would give him more time to land the knockout shot. But whilst he only has 15 minutes, I can actually see this one going to the scorecards. And I can see Blachowicz being ahead. I agree with Israel Adesanya with that assessment that if it gets to the scorecards, Blachowicz will win, because I do think he'll be able to take Alex Pereira down. I'm concerned that Alex Pereira has taken this fight only 3.5 months after losing to Izzy. I'm not sure if he's fully prepared for it again. There are a number of outcomes I could see, but I am concerned with Pereira's takedown defense. All I can think about is the fight with Israel Adesanya, where Jan showed up, committed to wrestling, and won what was a boring fight, and that was 25 minutes. This is 15. Obviously, Alex is more dangerous than Izzy because he's larger than Izzy, and he should be at this weight and probably more suitable to be at this weight. And therefore, this could be the start of Alex Pereira beginning a very, very dominant light heavyweight title win by winning this and going on to win the belt. But for me, I think this is a very difficult fight to take off the back of that loss. I think it's too much of a too quick a turnaround, and I believe Jan Blachowicz, over the course of 15 minutes, will be able to score enough takedowns to make this boring. There will be periods where he's in trouble. There will be periods where Alex Pereira is unleashing his offense, and he's going to need to be able to find a stoppage when he does that. But Israel Adesanya couldn't, and I'm willing to bet here, I'm willing to put out the lean that Blachowicz is able to neutralise Pereira the same way that he neutralised Israel Adesanya and get a 15-minute victory on the scorecards. Closing out with my lock here for this show. This is a bit of a risky one because I can certainly see the opposite thing happening, which would be Justin Gaethje winning. But I'm going to go for Dustin Poirier straight up on the money line. This is a statistical pick, just simply because I feel if these two fought 10 times, Dustin Poirier would be able to win 8 of those fights, because I think he's the more technically sound, more intelligent, more complete MMA fighter. But there is a 2 in 10 chance that Justin Gaethje could win. But if I think Dustin Poirier wins 8 times out of 10, and you're offering me a 7 to 10 price, that makes that a good price on Dustin Poirier. So, as I said, this is a statistical pick because I think there is line value on Poirier, who I do think is the better MMA fighter. Both of these guys have worked their way into a position where they're in the main event and they're fighting here for the BMF title. But Gaethje's career, I think, is more defined by that. Poirier has found his way into entertaining fights, whilst Gaethje looks to have entertaining fights. And that really is the difference. Dustin Poirier is the better MMA fighter out of the two. And while styles make fights, and the styles are going to clash here, and they're going to make a lot of people happy who tune in to watch this fight, it's just a shame that we have this tonight at the same time as Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. I don't know who thought that would be a good idea, but they are certainly going to take away from each other. I'm not thrilled at the prospect of channel surfing. I'm certainly not thrilled at the prospect that this could potentially clash with that. This main event could be on at the same time as Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Doesn't really make too much sense. I would love to watch both, and I would love to know right now if I'm going to see both, but we just don't know how the rest of this UFC card pans out, or the boxing card, the undercard on that fight either. But my pick for this fight and my lock for this show is going to be on Dustin Poirier to get his hand raised at the price of 7-10. That's it for me and this edition of The Fight Show. Good luck with all of your bets as always, guys, and thanks for listening.